The Billy Napier tenure might have just ended, right?
I mean, it might be done. I don't know if it's gonna end.
No. I think there will be more games that he is the head coach of Florida.
Yeah.
But you have those spots, right? I think we were live on the Cover 3 podcast when I asked, did Ed Orgeron just get fired?
Mm-hmm.
You know, like
yeah.
It doesn't happen the next day always, but a home loss, which now brings Billy Napier to 20-20 against USF as a 3-score favorite with multiple mind-boggling decisions has snapped us right back to where we were at the beginning of last season. And I just don't know if I don't know if there's an Ole Miss win. I don't know if there's a late season victory that's going to be able to salvage this one. Tom, what'd you make of the Gators?
Wow, typical mainstream media. USF's 2-0 with wins over Boise, and Florida got the driver's seat for the playoff spot. And you want to talk about the Florida Gators, the SEC team. Typical. Oh, they are. Yeah, it's not great. You mentioned the spit at the top of the show, kind of really turned the tide in that game. We've been telling Florida to be more like Georgia for years now, but we didn't mean like that. And that really bit them in the
shout
ass.
out. Let's go.
Just that's. I don't know. Like, honest to God, you know what the worst part is? I think that Florida lost to USF, and it's a big deal, but I don't really think anybody's shocked by it, even though they were 3-score favorites. Are you like absolutely shocked that Florida could lose to USF based on what you have seen from Billy Napier's Florida Gators?
I think that my expectation, because you couldn't take anything away from Long Island, I was basically entering this game with what we talk about a lot as my preseason priors. And Tom, your preseason priors were like, why is this a top 15 team?
Yeah.
They on paper have all these like NFL draft picks along both lines of scrimmage, and they've got a DJ Lagway, and they're so talented, and most talented team since. But what we say in 2020, most talented team since.
I would think so.
Yeah. So sure, yeah, all of those things on paper are true. So I entered this game with my preseason priors because I couldn't adjust them. But once the game started, to your point, was not shocked by the way it finished. Like by the way we finished, I wasn't shocked. Before kickoff, I did not think this was a possibility, especially as ineffective as they were. Because, as we said, Boise State moved the ball against USF.
This is weird, but you know what, like, the first indicator in this game to me was that USF was not scared at all? Was when Golesh sent the Grammatica kid out there to attempt a 58-yard field goal, knowing that if he missed it, Florida was going to get the ball at midfield, and he didn't care.
Because they're going to move the ball. Yeah.
Like, you see a coach doing that at that position in the game, and you're like, man, he's not really all that worried about what Florida's offense is going to be able to do to him. Like, he really thinks his team's got a shot. He just wants to get these 3 points right now because he doesn't, he's like, hey, a field goal might be all we need.
It's wild that you have superior athletes. You have a 46% success rate, which is pretty good overall in the game, and you flub situations that poorly, both from like a game management standpoint. And like, guys, we ragged on Dion last week. I think this was worse. Like the way Napier managed this game, how many times do they punt on fourth and manageable? They're not a tempo team anyway. USF is, but like, guys, you have the better athletes. You have a quarterback that like literally probably saved your job. You don't believe in this kid enough to go for it on 4th and 4, 4th and 3, 4th and 4, 4th and 5, 4th and 6 in this ballgame. You take a timeout to start the final offensive drive. Like that basically killed your chance to actually get the ball back there at the end. If you look at the, like complaints you have about Napier, some game management stuff, right? Last year, I thought it was pretty understood they were going to make him hire an offensive coordinator. He was going to come back. But because they finished the year so strong, that basically just kind of, went away. And one of the complaints about Napier has always been He's really good at designing some of the play action stuff. He's good on early downs. My friend J. Bud Davis here in Orlando has talked about this a lot. Obvious passing situations with Florida. The concepts that, like, some of the passing concepts are just probably not up to snuff of like a really, really good team. And I think you saw it tonight. Like, look at their success rate here. You could pull this up on, where's that? So if you look at this, overall success rate, 46%. That's awesome. Third down success rate, 29%. Explosive plays, they were in the third percentile. That's how you have a decent edge in a lot of the situations in the game, but you don't win the explosive battle. You're not converting into touchdowns. You're not keeping the ball on the field. You're giving away too many possessions with these just boneheaded punt decisions, and you mismanage your timeouts. That's kind of the recipe to lose at home when you do have better athletes at a lot of the spots on the field. I also think this looked like a team that probably did not get to practice a whole lot together in spring with their quarterback and their new receivers, and for much of the summer because he was hurt. They don't look in sync at all yet, and that might really cost Billy his job.
I mean, the upcoming schedule is bananas and includes all you see it right now if you're watching on youtube.com/cover3. That is the number 3, 5, 7, and 19 teams in the country as their next 4 games. Their game after that is against the Mississippi State team that just beat Arizona State. Then number 4, Georgia. Kentucky, which just hung with Ole Miss.
Yeah, but that doesn't count. Kentucky just does that.
Oh, yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Then Ole Miss, Tennessee, Florida State. How many games does Florida win this year?
Well, I'm going to give them Mississippi State.
Are we assuming are we assuming that they don't quit? We talked about this a lot this offseason. A lot of these teams that, to get ahead of the rev share cap, they front-loaded the hell out of all these deals. And what would be the consequences of that if things got off to rocky starts for these teams that had big expectations and they started with a whimper? If you assume full effort, I think they're probably still a bowl team. But I don't know that.
Yeah, I don't know that.
They need to get it together and quick.
Are they a bowl team at full effort? I mean, they're probably losing on the road to LSU and Miami. They could beat Texas. Texas we'll get to later in the show, but Texas hasn't exactly looked like a world beater. Texas A&M on the road, I don't know. Ole Miss on the road, I don't know. I don't know that they're a bowl team, even if they play great or full effort. We've talked so much about Lagway and how great he is. He wasn't bad today, but he didn't really look like a huge difference maker to me. He couldn't really do anything on the ground. He wasn't. It's like some of that's on the receiver, some of it's on the scheme, as you mentioned it. But at some point, like, if you're going to be a superstar, you've got to kind of rise above it. And he just hasn't done that yet. And not saying he can't, but it's another situation where, like, my doubts about this team before the season began, it's like, until I see it, I'm just not going to assume it's there anymore.
I think that's fair. There were 2 teams in the SEC that I think people were really counting on to have like a 7.5, 8 win projection in Vegas, but the potential acknowledged that if everything clicked, could rise well above. Gators and Sooners. One team tonight looked like they had the real potential to click. One team looked like they're still just stuck in neutral.
Yeah, both look flawed, but I see the improvement. Yeah. I see where things can get cleaned up for Oklahoma. I don't know where the path forward is for the Gators.
You're going to need that dredging hoe you had in your backyard the other day to clear some room for the Gators right now.
It was dredging hoe, right?
Barge hoe.
Barge hoe. Sorry.
It was out again today. We stopped and watched it again.
Yeah. Listen.
Dredging hoe is a girl I went to high school with.
You know, that's a decent analogy for this Florida offense right now. Like, watching this barge hoe, okay, it's got to go under the bridge. Slow. It's turning around real slow. And you know what? It can only get one scoop at a time. Then it has to go over to the bank. It's kind of cool. It's like it's an amphibious vehicle. It kind of climbs up on the side, and there's a little skid steer waiting for it. It dumps one scoop. Skid steer, no wonder they're going to be working here for weeks. We're going to go watch this every day. It's fantastic. And that's a lot like watching this Florida offense right now, guys. They're just not they're not explosive right now in any way.
I just liked when he made the noise.
I did not say that, by the way, but it just, yeah.
They need, this is a quote from a Florida supporter who loves this podcast. He said, feel free to share on the reaction pod how you see fit. I won't quote him. I've
narrowed it down to a couple then.
They needed to tow Billy's car and make him walk home to think about what he's done. And when he comes back in the morning, change the locks and throw all of the bleep out in the office out of the window onto Stadium Road. He is the most incompetent coach I have ever seen in my entire life. He is in so far over his head, he might cause an actual riot in Gainesville. This was a friend of ours who...
I didn't know you were texting with Spurrier like that.
I know. Ball coach was living life, saying Gator boys stay hot as they're cutting down the nets, winning a national championship. I said, oh, does Todd Golden's title win do anything for Florida? Bud said, absolutely not.
Not a chance.
Not a chance.
I mean, look, that big deal they signed with ESPN requires them to actually care and try about basketball. But the fans didn't sign the deal with ESPN, guys.
No.
The fans care about one sport in this state. And I guarantee you they don't give a piss about football at all, or about basketball at all.
Yeah.
It's football.
They might not care about football much longer the way things
most
are going.
Sports for Florida ranked are football, recruiting in football, and spring football. When I ran
baseball,
I run a team-specific blog in the state. Back when I ran Tomahawk, I told my guys, I said, hey, you know what? Football's first, recruiting second, spring football's third. If we got time for hoops or got time for baseball, all right. We know what people care about, though. The bread is buttered in football.
Yep. And yes, Bulls on parade. Let's go. Well, we will get to tomorrow's top 25 today, where we will offer our projections for how they're going to be, ranking the new top 25 after week 2. USF will be ranked. We will tell you where a little bit later in the show, but we do need to also offer credit to the team that went into the swamp and took them down after winning 34-7. Fact check me later. In their opener against Boise State. Yeah, there we go. 34-7. Let's go.
Nailed it.
Done.
What is sustainable here? Like, what is USF being good and not just all of the Florida issues?
They're very aggressive on defense. I think they play a pretty complementary style on defense to try to get the ball back to an offense that wants to go some tempo, that wants to run, some of that classic go less stuff. They mix it up a little more. Like, it's not just the pure, old school Baylor spread, if you will, or if you will. I think Brown is a pretty decent quarterback, and that derailed their season last year when he got hurt. They had some offensive line injuries last year as well. There's some interesting pieces on this USF team. And Singleton had another explosive play for them last week. It was on the fake punt. This week more of a traditional catch and run. Like 23, but it's not like they 391 yards, yes. And Florida's defense is better now than it was in the first half of last year. I think you give up 18 points to a G5 team and lost at home. This is on the offense not staying on the field. This is on the head coach wasting drives with just incorrect decisions. And I think in the rev share era, when people have less depth and the rosters are more spread out, this is not me saying like Florida's roster is closer to USF's roster than it's ever been, because I don't think it is. But in this era of college football, with coaches getting smarter, most of them, when you make these dumb game management decisions, guys, it does cost you more. I think it means more. It just means more.
I think for South Florida, the nice thing is now you've beaten Boise and Florida to start your season, okay? So
and now you play Miami.
Yeah, and Boise might still run roughshod through the entire Mountain West. So that might be a huge win for you later when it comes to comparing resumes if you both end up winning your league. So like Miami's kind of a free roll because after they get past Miami, assuming they lose that, but hell, maybe they shock the world again and take down the Canes and prove that the real South Florida's in Central Florida. But then, I mean, they've got South Carolina State, Charlotte, North Texas, FAU, Memphis, UTS. It's like the schedule gets really kind of simple from that point on. So as long as they don't screw up majorly, they've got a very real path to a playoff spot.
I think that this is very clearly, to your point, Tom, what sets the stage where they just need to win the American.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You win the American, you've got to win against Florida in the Swamp. Even if Florida is 6-6, it's a win against Florida in the Swamp. The selection committee will reward that.
Like, I'm not going to say you do it. I'm not going to say I want them to do it. I'm not going to say they do it. But there is a scenario where if you're South Florida, you kind of can wonder, do we just pack it in next week?
No.
Just saying. All you got to do at this point is win the American and you're in the playoff.
No. I saw the video of those assistant coaches when they got out of the elevator that they got stuck by their own jumping. And as they were finally running down the stairwell, they were so jacked up, they had no plans to not go all gas, no brakes next
I'm not saying they will. I'm not saying they should. I'm just saying there is a legitimate argument to be made for it.